It was a cold winter afternoon, the kind where the wind bites at your cheeks and the streets seem quieter than usual. The snow on the ground was piled in grayish heaps from days of shoveling, and most people hurried past each other with their heads down, eager to escape the chill dot at the corner of 7th and Maple. A woman in a worn grey coat sat on a bench, her gloved hands wrapped around a paper cup of coffee that had long gone cold. Her name was Claire. Once, not so long ago, she had been a respected teacher, the kind who remembered every student's birthday and stayed after school to help the ones who struggled. But life, in its unpredictable cruelty, had taken her job, her apartment, and her hope, all within a single year. She didn't cry anymore. Tears, she had learned, didn't solve problems. They only made her face sting in the cold. She told herself she was fine, just surviving. But deep down, she was lonely in a way that gnawed at her soul. That was when she heard a voice, small, fragile, and almost swallowed by the wind. "You need a home, and I need a mummy." Claire blinked. Sure, she'd imagined it. But then she saw her, a little girl, maybe 6 years old, standing in front of her. The child's hair was tangled, her coat far too thin for the weather, and her shoes had holes in the toes. She clutched a battered teddy bear against her chest as if it were the only thing keeping her safe. Claire's breath caught. "Sweetheart, where's your mum?" The girl's big brown eyes shimmered. "She went away. I think she's not coming back." Claire felt her heart twist in her chest. She'd heard stories like this, children abandoned, lost in the shuffle of a broken system. But to see it, to hear it, was different. "What's your name?" Claire asked gently. "Lily," the girl whispered. Then she added, "And you're sad too, aren't you?" Claire tried to smile. "Why would you say that?" "Because your eyes look like mine. Empty." Those words hit Claire harder than she expected. She wanted to protest, to say she was fine, but she knew she wasn't. Lily was right. And somehow, in that moment, Claire realized she was looking at someone who understood loneliness even better than she did. Claire didn't know what came over her, but she couldn't just let Lily walk away. She took her to a nearby diner, bought her a hot chocolate with whipped cream, and listened as the little girl spoke between cautious sips. Lily had been living in a shelter with her mother, but her mother had left one night and never returned. The shelter had taken her in for a while, but it was overcrowded, and Lily had slipped out the back door 2 days ago to look for her mum. Claire's logical mind told her to call the police or child services right away, but her heart, the part that still remembered what it felt like to care deeply, hesitated. She knew how the system worked. Kids got passed from one temporary home to another. Lily might never find stability, might never feel safe. "Do you have anyone else?" Claire asked. Lily shook her head. "No, but you don't have anyone either, right? So maybe we can be each other's." Claire stared at her, stunned by the simplicity of her words. Be each other's. The next days were a whirlwind. Claire found herself walking Lily back to the shelter, speaking to the manager, explaining the situation. She offered to take temporary guardianship while paperwork was sorted. The shelter staff was skeptical. After all, Claire herself had no stable home, but something in her persistence must have convinced them. They agreed to let her keep Lily with her under supervision until social services could decide. It wasn't easy. Claire was still struggling, sleeping in a small room she rented above a laundromat, working odd jobs just to make ends meet. Now, she had a child to care for. Money was tighter than ever, and every day brought a new worry. What if the system decided she wasn't fit to keep Lily? What if Lily was taken away? But something else happened to Dot. Claire found herself smiling again. She laughed when Lily tried to make pancakes and burned half the batter. She felt pride when Lily showed her a drawing of our home, a shaky crayon picture of 2 people holding hands under a rainbow. And at night, when Lily would curl up next to her, whispering, "Good night, Mummy," Claire felt a kind of warmth she thought she'd lost forever. Still, the battle wasn't over. A court date came. Social workers examined Claire's finances, her living situation, her background. It was an uphill fight, and there were moments when she wanted to give up. But every time she looked at Lily, she remembered that little voice on the snowy street. "You need a home, and I need a mummy." Claire went back to school part-time to renew her teaching license. She picked up tutoring jobs, saved every penny, and slowly built a better life. The community began to notice the same neighbors who had once passed her by now offered help. Sometimes groceries, sometimes just words of encouragement. By the time the final court hearing came, Claire stood tall, not just as a woman fighting for a child, but as a mother fighting for her daughter. The judge, moved by the transformation, granted full custody. When they walked out of the courthouse, Lily squeezed her hand and beamed. "So, we're forever now." Claire smiled through tears. Forever. Years later, when Lily was in high school, she gave a speech at a community event. She told the audience about the day she met her mum on a snowy bench, and how two broken people had found each other. Her last words silenced the room. Some people think family is about blood, but for us, it's about love and the courage to hold on when the world tells you to let go. My mum didn't just give me a home, she gave me a reason to believe. And Claire, sitting in the front row, knew that, in saving Lily, she had saved herself. Message: sometimes, the family you're meant to have is the one you choose, and the greatest healing happens when two hearts dare to be each other's safe place.